Welcome to the American Soldier Podcast. My name is Douglas Taurel. This is a podcast to hear important stories told by actual veterans and military families. My hope and goal is that this podcast can give a voice to our veterans and provide a path for healing, and help society better understand the sacrifices that they and their families have given for us and our freedoms.
So today I have two wonderful guests. I have Kenny Curcio. He's a songwriter and a well-known singer, and he's got a wonderful song called The American Soldier. And I also have Suzie Pepe, the coordinator for the BIDA Foundation, who helps veterans during their last days of life. And they got a special event on November 6th where they're going to be raising money for veterans and military families. And we're going to talk about their journey, their mission, and a few other fun stuff. So I'm really excited to speak to both Kenny and Suzie here on the American Soldier Podcast.
You doing this, Doug. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem, man.
Yeah,
Not
we
a
really
problem.
appreciate this.
All right. Well, guys, hi. Welcome to the American Soldier Podcast. I've got two special people here with me today. I've got Kenny Curcio, an amazing artist. He's got a song called The American Soldier. I've listened to it a couple times, and it's really beautiful. And Suzie Pepe, and she's going to tell you who she is, but she works for BIDA. They deal with veterans at hospice. And so they got a really special event on November 6th, and they're going to raise money for vets. And we're just going to talk about their story and their journey and what their mission is and what they hope, and learn a little bit more about them. So Kenny, welcome. Suzie, welcome. I'll start with Kenny, no problem. So what inspired you to write the song, Kenny?
My grandfather was in the military. My cousin was a Marine. So I have some family ties. And so that's where it started from. I released this song in 2019. And just to give the veterans and our servicemen and women honor through when I go into songwriting. I write about my hometown. I write about traveling, and also I love giving back and showing support for our veterans. That's where it started from. And it's just been fortunate to have opportunities and events like this where it can bring the veterans together and to give them recognition for all that they've done. And so connecting with Suzie on this event here has been really great, getting everything together for this.
And I know you said, are you based in PA?
So I'm based in New Jersey. I grew up in South Jersey.
Where in New Jersey?
I grew up in Medford, about a half an hour from Philadelphia.
Been a long time in Hoboken.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, that's great.
Cool. Yeah, I'm up in northwest Jersey now, Sussex County. Me and my wife have a house up here. Yeah, closer to Hoboken, probably like an hour from there.
Yeah. Any kids?
No kids. Yeah, we just got married in August, so maybe.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Well, all the best. And so, Suzie, you're based in PA, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah,
I'm in Bucks County, PA.
You can call me Doug. You're in Bucks County, huh?
Yes.
You guys all kinds of people are fighting over you guys. Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about two questions. One is, how'd you guys get hooked up? And then tell me a little bit about BIDA and what BIDA does and how long you've been with BIDA and how you got involved with BIDA.
Yeah, sure. Kenny and I actually, fun fact, met at the Barefoot Country Music Festival in New Jersey. One of my best friends, Jana, she's on the radio for Cat Country down the shore. And Kenny, we were at Renault Winery, and Kenny was trying out to be one of the musicians that got to play at Barefoot. And that's actually how we met. And then this past summer at Barefoot, he was at the concert. He was on our R&R Tower. And I was like, just talking to him about the event and everything. And he just seemed really interested. And then a couple months ago, we reconnected and he was still really interested. So really grateful about that. And so now we're here, and Kenny and his team have been absolutely incredible. And the fact that they want to download the profits from American Soldier for the month of November to BAYADA is probably one of the most amazing things that somebody could do for me and my career, for us as a company. I think that's pretty amazing.
And what is BAYADA? Tell us a little bit about BAYADA. BAYADA.
BAYADA.
What is that? Is that an acronym, or is that a name, or?
The founder, Mark BAYADA, his name is actually spelled different, but they changed it for the company. And he founded the company in 1975 in Philadelphia, and he actually is a Army veteran as well. So that was pretty cool.
So it's his last name.
Yes.
And so what do you guys do?
So BAYADA is a home health company. They have hospice and all sorts of other things. They have home health. They work with pediatrics. Like I said, I'm in the hospice division, so I work closely with people that are at the end of their lives. And hospice can tend to scare people, but it really is the most or highest level of comfort care possible that you could give to somebody at the end of their lives. What we do is not easy, but it's one of the most selfless things that I could do by working in this type of environment.
Yeah, no, it's got to be very, God bless you guys, because you've got to be very special to do that. My wife lost her mother and she was in hospice. So I know
I'm
I'm
sorry.
pouring that. Yeah, I'm pouring that care. It was a while back, but I do know how critical hospice can be and how wonderful it can be in letting those who are about to end their life to have a peaceful way out. And so all you guys deal with veterans, or it's everybody, or mostly military or vet families?
So that's a good question. So no, so we have just a regular group of individuals that are on our hospice service, and we do have a lot of veterans, but we have veteran volunteers. We have a lot of veteran employees as well. But we don't work with veterans all the time. We do, like I said, we do have a lot of veteran patients on our hospice service, but not all veterans.
That's really cool. And who else are you guys going to have at these? The event is November 6th, and where's the event?
It's at the Lehman Memorial Methodist Church in Hatboro, PA. And would you like the address?
Yeah, I'll put it in the notes, but that's great. Shoot it out. Say it out loud. Sure.
So it's
Mhm.
300 South York Road in Hatboro, PA, and it's going to be pretty big. So far, we have a lot of people from the community coming. The Fanatic is going to be there. We have 3 speakers. We have a veteran Marine Corps speaker. He's a volunteer. We have the pastor of the church. He was the pastor last year, and he's actually a Marine Corps veteran, so he's coming to speak. And
Very
then we
cool.
have an employee who I'm very excited to hear him speak. His name is Justin. He's actually one of the associate directors for BAYADA, in one of our offices in Harrisburg. So that's going to be really cool. We have the Women's Memorial is coming from,
DC?
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
really excited about that.
Yeah.
'Cause
I know
I
them. I know Donna from the Women's Memorial DC. So is Donna coming?
I'm not exactly sure who's coming. I just know they're gonna be having a table set up, and we're gonna do, like, a
Very
women's
cool.
kind of a thing also. We're gonna have a table where all the women that were in the military or currently are in the military are being honored at this table, and the Women's Memorial is gonna be doing that for us. So everybody had to register for the Women's Memorial. So now I've been trying to talk to my one director to see if we can do a little bus trip to go down and
Oh, have you
see the
seen it?
memorial. I have been to Arlington, but I have not seen the Women's Memorial.
Oh, it's really cool. And I have you go to DC. So I just did a World War One. I have 2 plays, and I just performed just last month in DC. I'm heading back, but Sabin Howard just did a World War One memorial. You should look it up. It's called
Okay.
the American Soldier's Journey. Yeah, the American Soldier's
Mm.
Journey. I think it's the biggest bronze monument statue in the Western Hemisphere. It's huge, and it's basically the journey of a soldier from World War One going into combat, his experience through combat, and coming out of combat. And you can look it up online. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. It took him 10 years to sculpt it, and he used veterans from all different generations as models to make the World War One monument. So the faces are actual people that he used as models, and they're all
Oh, wow.
vets or military families. It's crazy. So if you go to DC, definitely make a point to seeing Sabin Howard's memorial. It was crazy. It's unbelievable how beautiful it is.
I'll look that up when we get off of here.
Yeah, yeah. So why'd you call it the American Soldier? How'd you come across the name for the song? It's very fitting, obviously. That's the reason why I named my play The American Soldier. But I'll tell my story was more on by luck, not by choice. But I'm sure there's got to be some inspiration for The American Soldier.
Yeah. Well, like I
So
said, with my
that's the Toby Keith song, right? Am I right?
it is,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he has a song called "The American Soldier." I believe that was back in, like, the '90s. When I originally wrote the song, it came from a place of overcoming challenges and dealing with, like, adversity and having a soldier mindset of our own. Like, I lost my father at a young age when I was 13, so that had
Mm.
some challenges in its own.
Was he a vet?
So he wasn't, no, but,
Okay.
so I took that feeling and of my grandfather who was in the military, and I
What did
just
he
came
serve?
up with it. He was he was served in Germany. He was on the ship, the Plunkett,
Okay.
um,
Navy?
and he was in the Navy. Yeah, yeah. And then my cousin was a Marine. So that's where the title came from, just a combination of just going through challenges and then relating it to the challenges that my grandfather had. When he came back, he had to go through a lot of treatment and everything. And there's a book out that tells his story. I'll
Really?
let you know about it. Yeah,
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
What's the name of the
so
book?
I can find out and I'll
Yeah,
it's
text it
out
to me,
top
man.
of my head.
Yeah. Yeah, shoot it
Yeah.
over. Yeah. Have you read it?
I've read parts of it. Yeah, I've read parts of it. It's a very long book and there's a lot of it's like 400 pages, 400 pages. But it's yeah.
And so what are you guys hoping to get out of the event? Obviously, raising money is goal number one, but besides awareness, what else? Is there something underlining another awareness, another mission you're trying to bring to the forefront?
Yeah. So actually, like my number one goal out of this is to be able to honor all of our veteran patients, past and present. Their families are invited. Last year, we were able to get one of our veteran hospice patients to be there, and it was one of the most beautiful things.
Oh,
So hopefully that we can have a couple more this year.
what was his name?
His name was Marvin.
And what did he serve? It's always good to remember. So I always believe it's good when people pass who've served. So I make a point of always mentioning names because my play is really it's to give a voice to vets and military families from every generation. So when I write about someone or someone meets me at the end of the Q&As of the shows and they tell me their story, their grandfather stories, I always try to get their names and try to remember their names so we give them a voice, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, that's always really important to remember their names and say it out loud. So we give them meaning, we give them a voice. So his name was Marvin and he served.
So I'm not sure when he served, actually. I forget, but I definitely have that information. And
No, it's okay.
it was a really cool experience. We actually had 2 Humvees there. There was a couple of guys from the Army were there. So we got this really awesome group picture. We had a retired
Share that.
colonel
Yeah,
spoke.
if you can share that picture, share it. I'll share it with my
Oh,
blog.
absolutely. Yeah. I will make sure that's okay first with HIPAA and everything. I gotta double check and make
Oh,
sure it's all kosher.
sure.
But yeah, no, he absolutely loved it, and just the fact that he enjoyed it so much, and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna have to come over and have lunch with me." So, a couple weeks after the event, me and a nurse actually went and had lunch with him because he was so happy and wanted to see us again. So that was really definitely a big heartwarming thing. But that's like my biggest goal. It's not to raise money. Like we didn't ask Kenny to come and play for that purpose. You know what I mean? Like we were asking Kenny because I wanted him to do the national anthem. I wanted him to sing his song "American Soldier" to give all of these men and women the respect and honor that they deserve. And just being able to do that is one of the most rewarding things. But
Yeah.
we also ask for if anybody wants to volunteer that's a veteran, because we're always looking for more veteran to veteran volunteers. It is one of the most incredible things being a veteran myself. It's you have that like mind mentality. It's easier for somebody to open up, for a veteran to open up to a fellow veteran or a fellow
For sure.
service
Yeah.
member to be able to talk about that. And that's one of the coolest things of the brother sisterhood that the military is. And I always pride myself on telling our veteran volunteers, like, we all took an oath and that oath is never going to expire. My oath will never expire. And until I die, I'm going to continue to serve the people that served before me and that are currently serving.
Did your family serve?
My dad was in the Vietnam War. He was a Marine Corps veteran. That is actually how I got my start with him. He worked at this facility called Delaware Valley Veterans Home in Northeast Philadelphia. And so I was volunteering with veterans since I was 9 years old. And so from an early age, I've always wanted to join the military. My pop, he is a
Or
Vietnam.
what? What'd you call it?
My pop, he's
grandfather?
he's gonna get a kick out of this when he sees this. And I called him out.
It's so funny how so many people have so many different names for their grandfathers, from Pop to Pop. I think that's the first one I ever heard that.
So Papa and my
Gramps.
mom. So I have Papa and Mom. But he
That's
was also in the Marine Corps. He was in Vietnam as well. He absolutely loved it. Funny story. He's getting a cochlear implant put in through the VA. And
What?
it's a cochlear implant, like for him to be able to hear.
Okay.
So he has hearing aids. And so he's getting that put in, and that's on Monday. And it's a pretty big surgery. And he told me, he goes, "Oh, don't worry. I'm going to be there with a bandage around my head, but I'll be there." He was very proud of how the event was last year. And if I say on here that he cried, he'll probably deny it, but he definitely had some tears. It was,
That's
but that's the thing. Like I had the experience to be able to go with him on an honor flight. We went to DC, and seeing him around fellow veterans, and he has the gift of gab. He really does. And he can talk to anybody. But just to see him around, like when he saw like Marine sergeants and lieutenants and things like that, and he would just walk up to them like he knew them, like he fought next to them when he was in the service. And that's one of the most amazing things. I think, to me, yeah, I was in the military, but getting to do all of these things, see all those things, be able to make a difference for somebody's life, that's the biggest reward for me. That's just,
yeah. I mean, as an artist, and I'm sure Kenny, you're definitely younger than me, but as you keep going, it's great to be able to use your art that actually has meaning and to give back to something. A lot of projects or film, TV projects that I'll work on, they're great. They're hollow on the back end, and they're fun, they're rewarding, and they're great to be part of. But at least for me, and I'm sure you'll experience this one on November 6th, because you just get a lot of people coming up to you, thanking you for what you're doing, thank you for contributing your talents to them, and it's rewarding. It's rewarding as an artist that you're able to use your mission to give back to something, and that's really, really cherished. Because it's really a rarity, because not many people get to do that with their art, or shoot, with their life, much less. But it's going to be really cool for you to experience that. So, are you singing more than one song, or is that the only song you're singing there?
So I'm singing the national anthem, American Soldier, and I think I'll be playing for a little while, like 20 minutes, half an hour. I think we're still figuring that out. But
I was talking about maybe when
yeah,
people are walking in to go get their seats, he can just play a little something while everybody's getting situated and comfortable
Yeah.
in the seat.
Guitar? You play guitar, right? Yeah.
I play
mean,
guitar. Yep.
Yeah, I know you play guitar, but you're going to play your guitar there, right?
Yep. Yeah, I have my guitar there, and I'll be singing, just doing an acoustic. Yeah.
You play any other instruments?
I play a little bit of piano, some drums, but guitar is mainly my main
Man,
instrument, you know.
my biggest regret is never picking up the freaking guitar, man. I wish I would have picked it up. And when I went to Ole Miss, I had a friend of mine I was good friends with, and we used to just get drunk and do all kinds of crazy stuff. But he was in a band. What's the name of his band? But it was a big, small band at Ole Miss, and all the girls loved him. He was hot, and we would just get drunk and sometimes stoned, and he'd play his guitar, and he'd give it to me, and I still have it. It's in my closet. And one day he goes, "Man, why don't you take this, man, and play it?" And I said, "You sure?" He goes, "Yeah, I've got so many guitars. Just take it." And I took it, and I keep it. I remember him. His name was Nate. I still remember him like it was yesterday. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I started playing, and I was such a freaking weenie with my fingers. I couldn't take the hurt on the tips. He says, "You just got to play through it." I go, "It hurts, man. It hurts."
Got to callus over. It takes a few months to.
Yeah, and then when you stop playing, it gets soft again.
But hey, man, you can always bring it back if you got that guitar back there. You pick up a few chords.
I need to find an instructor, because I've got so many things going on that I'll never.
One right here, virtual lessons. You got it.
Yeah.
Virtual lessons.
Yeah.
Come have dinner with us in PA or New Jersey. Then Kenny can give you a little lesson.
That would be great. No, you should definitely play your guitar as people coming in. There's something so sweet about a guitar. I love listening. My mailman is a guitar player, and he comes by and he talks about jazz. And so we'll look up the greatest guitar solos and stuff. And I sit outside in front of my house, and he'll come up, and I found one, man, it's acting is cool, but man, to be a singer, to be in a band, you're really cool. You can sing. They're showing. I was looking up when Metallica played in Russia. They played for over 1 million people. I believe it's 1 million people. It was in 1990. I think it was 92 or something. In fact, they just got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Metallica.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But so did Ozzy.
well, yeah, Ozzy deserves to go there too. I let my kids listen to Ozzy for the first time because there was an elementary school that played Crazy Train
Yeah.
in eighth grade. I don't know if it went viral. It was on Twitter and everywhere. This eighth grade band instructor got these kids, and they were doing it on the what's the instrument, the percussions when you hit it, and they sound like you hit. It's not Congo, but it almost sounds like Jamaican a little bit when you hit them.
I think I know what you saw, this steel drum.
Yeah, it's like a steel drum, and but it looks like a piano. It looks like a piano, and they're hitting it with drumsticks. Anyhow, so they had a whole group of them, and they were playing Crazy Train, and it was, and the kids were like, they were in eighth grade, and they would go, and they were doing Crazy Train, and I'll try to find it. I'll look for it. It was crazy. So I haven't heard Crazy Train in a while. So my daughter is a dancer, and she's the one who I got two kids. I got a 15-year-old and an 11-year-old, and she's got the art gene. And so I let her listen to Crazy Train, and she loved it. She was like, "What is that?" I go, "That's Ozzy Osbourne, baby. You haven't heard Ozzy." She goes, "Play that again." And she loved it. Yeah, but Metallica too. And Metallica's, I think they were coming near us. I think they're on tour right now.
They are.
They're on tour.
Dad is a huge Metallica fan, and he listens.
Yeah, and I was going to go try to see them. My daughter was, because I showed her that video. You got to look up. It's 91. It was crazy. It was you guys both are much younger, but it was when Russia was USSR.
Okay.
And so they went and played. I think anyway, I'll look it up, but it was a lot of people. It was just a sea of humanity, and they were playing. There was another one.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Who's your favorite guitarist?
Oh man, favorite guitarist: Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton. When I grew up on a lot of like rock and roll and blues and that sort of thing. Those two, Stevie Ray.
Yeah, Stevie Ray's good. Yeah. Stevie Ray's Texas boy. Yeah.
Flash.
Who?
From the Guns N' Roses, GNR.
Yeah, I used to be a little.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I was a Guns N' Roses fan, but I heard so many bad things about him, Axl Rose, that it turned me off on the band. In fact, there's a famous story that when he went on tour with Metallica, and this was again in the late 90s, and apparently he cut his finger or something, and he wanted to cancel the tour, and Metallica was like, "We're not canceling the tour. We're on tour. Tape it up and let's go." And he apparently is a huge diva, or he was a big diva, and anyhow and then I don't think a couple of the cities he didn't play with them. And I think Metallica ended up playing. I think on one of the shows, Metallica played through the rain.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've heard they're a great concert. I heard they're really great dudes. Yeah. So I haven't listened to Axl Rose, but he's got that one album that is pretty good. It's that one album. I forgot the name of it, but that's great. Yeah. You should play the guitar when people are coming in.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to it. Playing the guitar, singing the national anthem and an American Soldier. And like you were saying, being an artist and being able to connect with people and the story. I have this other song called Dollar Bill that I wrote for the
What's the name of it?
It's called Dollar Bill.
Dollar Bill.
Yeah, and my brother and his wife, they used to run a nonprofit for the homeless in South Jersey a couple years ago. We've been doing a lot with that song. I have a song called Jersey Shore, and also the Closer, because I also pitch my songs to different TV shows and film. And we have this one film that's green lighted right now. It's interested in my song, The Closer. So that's pretty cool. There's different outlets with the songs, and that you can.
The song about?
The song, The Closer, is about closing a deal, closing a game, about winning. So the movie is called The Closer. We don't have too much information on it right yet. It's still in the final.
You wrote the song for the movie, not you wrote the song and then they wanted to do a movie.
Oh no, we wrote the song, The Closer, and then we found out about the movie.
And you pitched it to them. Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that's
So it
so
kind of
cool.
just lined up.
Kenny's being very humble. He wrote.
I'll let you know, Doug, if anything with the acting, if they need another actor in it. I'll
grow my hair out or something, man.
Suzie, sorry.
No, I was saying that you're being very humble. You wrote a song for the Eagles and Bleed Green, and he's going around at all like the tailgates and stuff. And it's
That's great.
the coolest
For the
thing is having,
Philadelphia Eagles.
yeah, for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's just
Have-
having such a good time.
You don't feel guilty for doing that, being in Jersey?
We're in
Everybody knows that where Kenny is
yeah,
in New Jersey is pretty much Eagles territory.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I think our Kenny, your video froze. Let me see if I can freeze you a little bit. So that's great. And then, are you guys working with? Are you doing anything with some of the hurricane? Sorry, I think he's still.
Hurricane Helene and the relief.
Yeah, yeah,
BAYADA is doing a lot with the hurricane relief. We have I forget what it's called. They're doing this like huge thing. Like I keep getting a whole bunch of emails about it to donate and help with the relief. And BAYADA is a 501c3, but we're always there to help other organizations or any other thing that is going on, like the hurricanes and stuff.
yeah. And what are you guys doing with the homeless vets?
That's a good question. I don't think that we have anything going on with the homeless vets. The biggest thing that like I ever deal with is making sure that our veteran patients get the extra benefits that they deserve from the VA. So like the coolest thing, not really the coolest thing, it's still sad, but the coolest thing that I think is that if you're already receiving benefits from the VA and then you go on to hospice, you can double dip. So you're getting like everything from hospice itself, but then if you need extra care or you
Yeah,
need extra nurses, things like that, more hands-on, you can also contact your VA. And all our social workers always contact me asking like, hey, like what VA for this area, what contact for this area. And so it's always nice to help. But in our company, we have these groups for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they're employee resource councils. And I am on the MILCOM one. It's the military communication. And we do a lot with with other things as well. Like you were saying about about homeless veterans and stuff. So if we ever have something like that, like this year or this coming May, we're going to be going to California for Hollywood for our awards weekend. And we had a meeting yesterday and we were talking about what can we do there. So we're talking about
shoot,
going and doing a veteran soup kitchen. We're going to be going and trying doing things with the homeless veterans that are around where we're going to be going for our awards weekend. So I'm really
yeah,
looking forward to that. There's always other opportunities that we can serve our veterans in our community. It can be difficult when BAYADA is so spread out and we have offices all over the country. So being able to get together and do those things is a little hard. We would rather take from our council budget and donate it that way, but we're always up to doing other things with veterans and everything like that. We we have a lot of fun with it. We do a lot with for the Employee Resource Council, we try and make the best of the company for our veteran employees. We were just on Forbes for it, which is pretty cool. We have a lot of resources for our employee veterans. And we still have people that are in the military we still have people in the military that are working for BAYADA as well. Like I said, our one speaker, he is in the National Guard. So that's pretty cool that he's able to work for a company and still be able to go and do the military thing. It's difficult. A lot of people don't realize that when you're coming out of the military and you're going into the civilian world, you're treated different sometimes. And we try and figure out the stigmatisms and the stigmas and everything like that goes into the workplace being a veteran coming into the civilian world. So we
yeah.
try and tackle that too.
And what do you think can be done with homeless vets? If you had a magic wand, what would you do?
If I had a magic wand, I would buy a farm and I would have tiny homes on that farm. And if there was anybody that would want to come, I believe strongly in equine therapy. When I got out of the military, started going to equine therapy to help me. I didn't want to get out of the military. So when I got out, I was probably in the darkest place of my life and
Really?
having equine, yeah. So having the equine therapy was amazing. So I would, if I had a magic wand, a farm with equine therapy for these veterans, get them the help that they need. They can stay as long as they want. They can help with the farm chores and
Did you serve in combat?
I did not. I did not. So I actually
Was
got
the transitioning was hard, or
so I got hurt at basic training and I actually did basic twice. And then I dislocated my shoulder in one of our training exercises. So when I came home, I dislocated my shoulder 2 more times. I had 3 surgeries. I was assigned to my unit out in Annville, PA at Fort Indian Town Gap. And it was one of the best times of my life, but it was also one of the hardest things because I wanted to deploy with them, but then I was being told that I was non-deployable because of my shoulder injury and having to get out. Being told that you worked your whole life to get to where you wanted to be. And like my whole life, my dream was to become and like to go into the military, to be a hero for the heroes before me, for my dad. And having that taken away from me, I didn't know
yeah?
where I belonged. I didn't know where I fit
No,
in.
the transitioning is tough. I talked to a lot
Yeah.
of vets. Transitioning is. I had a guy tell me once. He goes, "You go in when you go into the military, you go in to serve, and you think you're going to be a protector of people, or you're going to be a warrior, and then you get out and you don't really prepare for this, but you're a veteran, and you don't ever go into the military thinking you're going to be a veteran. You always think you're going to be a soldier." And he says, it's like you're used up. You're not really valuable anymore. And I'm sure that's a really tough transition for men and women who serve, who come out into the military. Now they got to find their footing, and it's really hard for for vets who haven't really prepared themselves for the transition out. Unless you're going to do 20, 25 years. But if you get out after 4 or 8 years, it could be, and the loss of brotherhood, the loss of community, because it is a community,
Belonging.
identity.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are all things that I struggle with. That was like one of the hardest things was like, where do I belong and who do I talk to? And that was the hardest part for me. But when I found out about BAYADA and how much they did with veterans and for hospice, you have to be a part of this organization called We Honor Veterans. It's under NHPCO, and that's for like hospice. So it's like part of Medicare and everything. And you have to do things to get there's 5 levels, and you have to go
Yeah.
through all those 5 levels, and there's so much more that you have to do in the community each one. But when I heard that if I became the volunteer coordinator and I would get to be a part of this program and help veterans, I was like, "Wow, that could be it, like, that could really help me." And even working here sometimes it can be very taxing and emotionally draining with when you're working with in hospice, but it was also therapeutic for me to be able to go to a patient's home that is a veteran and talk to them or set them
Yeah.
up
You
on
found, a mission, you found a passion, which is a huge part of transitioning out of the military and dealing with PTS, is finding something that you're passionate about and transitioning out. So many vets tell me that it doesn't matter if it's freaking fishing. You want to find something that you're passionate about and find a new identity and a new mission. And it looks like you've done that clearly.
Thank you. Yeah. And like I say about going to therapy and everything, I feel like it's a very important because when we're in the military, we're always told to keep it tight, keep a lid on it. There's no crying, but everybody has their days. And I, coming to BAYADA and being a part of the Milcom Employee Resource Council, I was able to start a program called Warrior Mindset. And it's a peer support group for anybody in the company that is in the military, is a veteran, military spouse, has kids in the military, anybody that has an affiliation with military that would like to come or needs to come and talk about anything.
Yeah.
It's a peer support group, 100% confidential. We just go and we talk and
I just heard a stat. I think the US government spent $3 billion on homeless vets in 2023 and $66 billion on illegal aliens. If that's not insane. I just came across that.
Yeah.
I think that's, to me, when I toured the play and when I talked to vets, I never thought that I'll be doing this. It's 10 years now that I'm doing this play. And I never in a million years thought that I'd still be doing it. I really thought it was a one-time thing. I did it for 8 people on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and I really thought it was going to be a one-time deal. And life has different plans for us, but the connections that I've met with people and what
Bless you.
what's
Thank you.
really it's almost like second nature for us as Americans. My wife is British, and you guys Americans, you always say bless you.
Gesundheit.
Gesundheit. Yeah, I've heard that too. But when you travel the country, for me, when I tour the play and I do it like I'm going to the Kennedy Center, but I'll be doing it in high school auditoriums. I'll be doing it in halls and stuff. And I do the play from everywhere, from chocolate factories to Broadway, off Broadway, and crazy places. And I think growing up, everyone celebrated Memorial Day. It was Veterans Day was a big deal, parades, flags, and the country's become so divided now and so polarized that we don't, not so much anymore. Whatever. No one knows really younger people don't even know what the hell Memorial Day is. They don't really understand Veterans Day. And I think that's really sad. I think that's really sad for our country, where we're not remembering and honoring those who have built the country. And so I think events like what you guys are doing are important. I'm sure you'll have younger vets there, and I'm sure you'll have people who have just, for the most part, that's my one. You'll have people there who just got out of the military or are still dealing with the withdrawal from Afghanistan and are still struggling with a lot of emotional stress. A lot of people don't even know, I'm sure, Suzie, but how many vets have killed themselves since 9/11? It's
Well,
quite substantial.
the suicide rate has actually gone up. I'm pretty sure that you guys are familiar with the number 22 a day. So 22 a
Mhm.
day, as of 2022, there was a study done that now the numbers has gone up to 44 a day.
Yeah, well,
I actually
because
didn't even know, and it's horrible.
yeah, I've known them for a while from combat vets that I've become friends with, because
Yeah.
what they only really talk about dramatic suicides. They don't talk about suicides from drug overdose, from alcoholism. They mostly talk about the dramatic suicides, but they don't talk about people who just drink themselves to death or drug themselves to
Right.
death. And so it's
Mhm.
we lost about 7,000 men and women in the Iraq and Afghanistan war in total. But since 9/11, I think it's been close to 120,000 have taken their lives.
Yeah.
And so the mental stress that is out there is really important. And I think that stress really gets compounded by just the lack of no one recognizing their story. That's the one thing I get whenever I perform at the end of the play. Just a thank you for not forgetting or for caring, for remembering to tell our story, or for giving a shit about us. And that
Mhm.
message goes still back all the way from Vietnam. I've become closer to Vietnam vets than I would have thought I would have been closer to. I'm friends with some Afghanistan and vets who've served in the recent wars in Iraq, but the connection that I've made with Vietnam vets is quite special, and it's quite interesting, and they're still carrying mental wounds. But I think what you guys are doing is important. I think, Kenny, that's great that you're donating your art and your talents for this event. I wish you guys nothing but the best on it. And I think what you're doing, Suzie, is really special.
Thank
And
you. Doug, what you're doing is incredible. I will need to know when you're going to be coming back
Yeah,
to
thank you, Doug.
PA. I would love to come and see your show.
I'll
It's
be in
incredible.
I'll be in Bloomsburg on the 9th. So I
On
think
the
it's about
9th of November.
9th of November. Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
boyfriend's in the Coast Guard. I'll be in he's graduate. He just made chief a little while ago, and he's at a school right now in Petaluma. So he'll be graduating on the 8th, and so I'll be in California. But I need to come and see your show. I
You
think
will.
every veteran needs to come and see your show.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's very sweet of you. And I hope everybody comes to see your show. So as we close out, why don't you tell us a message that you would like to give to veterans who listen to the podcast, and then tell us the details on the event?
First and foremost, I want to say thank you, Doug, for having us on. This really means a lot. Everything that you're doing is just absolutely incredible. Your story, why you're doing your show, it's awesome. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you to all that have served, that do serve. You're absolutely incredible people. Somebody had to sign that dotted line, so thank you that it was you. Not that many people do.
That's true. Not many people do.
It's the numbers have been going down on that.
Yeah.
Everyone that has signed those dotted lines is a very special and important person. And even if you don't feel it some days, you can always reach out to anybody. Use the buddy system. Contact us. I'll talk to you. Yeah. So our event is on November 6th. It is at the Lima Memorial Methodist Church. We're going to be honoring all of our veteran volunteers, our veteran patients, past and present, their families, our veteran employees. We'll have the Valley Forge Military College there. They're going to be having a cadet do taps. Kenny, of course, is going to be there to do our national anthem and play a song, American Soldier. We'll have a few speakers. There's going to be a lot of food. So if you are in the area and you want to come hungry, please
Good.
come hungry. And if
PA
you ever
food.
want, if you ever want to, no cheesesteaks this time. So Mission Barbecue.
Okay. All right.
But if anybody wants to come, please reach out to me. My email is spepe, P-E-P-E, at BAYADA.com, BAYADA. You can definitely shoot me an email. I can send you the Zoom link if you can't make it. And if you ever want to think about volunteering, we're always looking for more volunteers.
Are you on Instagram, Facebook, social media?
I
on
am.
Twitter?
I am. I'm also on LinkedIn, Suzie and Pepe on LinkedIn, Suzie Pepe on Facebook and Instagram. So please reach out. We would love to hear from you. And I would love to hear your stories. It's important, like you said, Doug.
Thanks, Suzie. What about you, Kenny? Where can people find you, and any message you want to have for the vets? And why don't you share your website, your social profile, your social media profiles, and yeah, give us that
Absolutely.
fun stuff.
Yeah, Doug, thank you, Suzie said, for having us. We really appreciate it. And yeah, I could be found on Instagram and Facebook, Kenny Curcio Music, Curcio. My website, kennycurciomusic.com. And yeah, I just want to thank you again for having us, and thank
Are you on Twitter?
Twitter as well. Yeah, Kenny Curcio Music on Twitter.
Okay. Make sure I share your stuff.
Yeah, and then the message to the vets, just want to thank you, and to servicemen and women. I'm just honored to just share my talents and my voice in recognizing the veterans. And I'm really looking forward to this event. I think it's going to be great. And anytime we get a chance to give back like this, it's a special thing.
Yeah.
And my grandfather's book, he was in Unsinkable. That's what it's called, by James Sullivan.
You have to bring me a copy, Ken.
Yeah, I'll send you a copy of it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so honored to have you. We really are. Like, everything that you guys have done for us, we couldn't be more thankful. So we really appreciate it. I can't wait to see you on the event.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, great, guys. Thanks for being on my podcast, The American Soldier. And I'm really grateful. To me, the whole point of this podcast is to share stories about vets, anything to dealing with veterans and military families, and hopefully to give a voice to those who raise the right hand, and to say thank you. I thank you both for what you're doing, and I wish you luck on the event. And I'll share it. And thanks for everybody for listening. And until the next podcast, The American Soldier. Thanks, guys. Later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. See you.
Thank you for listening to the American Soldier podcast. If you liked this episode, please leave a review. And if you'd like to hear more episodes like this, please subscribe to the channel. And to every veteran and to every military family, I thank you for your service and your incredible sacrifice to this nation.